Okay.
I call this meeting of the Craven County Board of Education to order, please. Like to welcome everyone here tonight. Glad that you could come out, especially to enjoy our children tonight. And at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Miller if she would do the roll call for us, please.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ms. Frances Boomer,
Here,
Ms. Naomi Clark,
Present.
Mr. Victor Dove,
Present.
Mr. Carl Apple,
Present.
Ms. Stephanie King,
Here.
Ms. Kelly Muse,
Here.
Ms. Kimberly Smith.
here.
Madam Chair, you have all board members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to ask, are there any amendments to the agenda for tonight? Having none, I need to get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we approve the agenda for tonight. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Ayes have it, the agenda is approved. And at this time, I would like to take a moment to share with you our vision statement. We envision a public education system that challenges all students as learners and prepares them. Let me start again. We envision all students as learners and challenges all students as learners and prepares them to imagine and create a successful life, values educators and empowers them to inspire and spark innovation in every student, leads in education and community engagement, and invites all students, their families, and all members of the community to work together to support public education to the benefit of our students, our community, our nation, and our world. Our mission statement says, together with our families and community, Craven County Schools would educate all learners to personal, professional, and civic success through challenging and personalized instruction. And at this time, I will ask Vice Chairman Naomi Clark to review the ground rules, the bin items process, and the safety procedure in the event of an emergency with the attendees of the Board of Education meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Meeting ground rules. You'll post and approve the agenda. You listen as an ally. One person speaks at a time. Respect each other. No sidebars. Everyone participates. Stay on task. Start and stop on time. Schedule appropriate breaks. Evaluate at the end of each meeting, and we would ask that any cell phones that you now put them on vibrate or silent. With regard to the safety procedures, there's a process for tornado or fire evacuation, excuse me. In the event of a fire emergency, we will split the room in half. The right side of the room, the side will exit out the door to my left, to the side of the room, and will exit out of the doors to my right. Those moving to my right will go out into the parking lot towards the bagel shop. Those moving out to the left will go out into the parking lot towards Babcock Furniture and get as far as away from the building until the fire department comes and clears the building. With regard to tornado, in the event of a tornado, all of us will move out of the same doors we moved out of for the fire drill. However, we will go into the hallway behind us. We will crouch on the ground against the wall and cover our heads until the storm passes or the building is cleared. With regard to an intruder, we have changed our processes for an intruder to more reflect what we would encounter in a real emergency. First, if we have warning, we will alert each other, which means we will make it known by yelling or telling the building that there is an intruder. We will lock down if the intruder is not in the room. This means we will do all we can to lock doors and secure ourselves in this room and get out of sight of the window. Madam Chair, that is all I have.
Okay, thank you so much. And at this time, we recognize any elected officials, dignitaries, leaders present in the audience and electronically. We would like to recognize our principal of the year, Mrs. Stacy Freeble, Havelock High School. She's over there. Our Craven County Schools Teacher of the Year, Ms. Arnita Morris, H.A. McDonald Middle School. Our Military Liaison, Mrs. Leafa Palmer. Craven County Schools Military Liaison Counselor, Mrs. Valerie Nasser. Partners in Education Executive Director, Mrs. Darlene Brown. We would like to recognize all our principals and staff. Let them stand, please, so we see where you are. Great. Wonderful. And all our retired educators who are also with us tonight, if we have any. We usually have some, don't see any tonight. They looking in. Thank you. And at this time, we will call upon our board attorney, Brian Gatchell, to offer an invocation for the meeting.
Board members, if before I pray, if you would join me in observing a moment of silence in remembrance of our friends and neighbors in Carteret County and the tragic loss that they have suffered. Thank you. If you'll now pray with me. Lord, you wait to be gracious to us. In your infinite regard, you stand at the ready, waiting to share the enormity of your loving kindness to each of us. Pierce the most hardened of hearts that we would accept your tender care. Lord, you have promised to show mercy to us. In your boundless love, you want to take us into your compassionate embrace, that we would know your forgiveness. Pierce the most secret corners of our hearts, that we would relax in your acceptance. Lord, you are a God of justice, blessing those who trust that you have the final word over the injustice and evil that is in this world. Pierce the most doubting heart, that in the face of all we fear, we would discover that our hope is found only in you. We give our hearts to you this day, trusting in the salvation of your holy name. Amen.
Amen. At this time, I'm going to ask, I would like to recognize our students, Connor Eastwood, if you would please stand, Connor. Hayden. Is that Chason? 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 Is that Savon? Lord help me. Gage? Gage? Robertson. And Jackson Twitchell. These students are from Richmond Elementary. And I ask everybody to please stand along with them for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Thank you. And we would like to recognize those same wonderful students, if they would please come forth, and they will do our character word of the month of February, which is integrity. So they're going to educate us tonight what it means to have integrity.
You're gonna turn that way.
Our gift, the word of the month is integrity. Integrity means being honest and doing the right thing.
February is also Black History Month. Tonight we are going to be telling you about famous Black Americans, and they showed strong integrity and strong ethics.
Those who show integrity take ownership of their problems that aren't their own. Ruby Bridges did that. She saw a problem with racial segregation in school, so she enrolled in an all-white school. For a whole year, she was in class by herself and even ate lunch and played by herself.
People who show integrity know what is right and are not afraid to stand up for it. Rosa Parks did that. She knew it was not okay for Black people to have different bus seats than white people. So one day she refused to give up her seat to a white person. Martin Luther King was a famous Black American that showed integrity. He was someone who could be trusted and open-minded, which is two qualities of someone with integrity. He had a dream that all people would be treated equally and it didn't matter what color of the skin would be. Michelle Obama was the first lady to our 44th President Barack Obama. During her time as First Lady, she was dedicated to many important social causes. Her integrity as well as her dedication made her an inspirational person.
Shaquille O'Neal is a famous basketball player who grew up in poverty. His experience as a child motivated him to give back to others in his adult life. One example of integrity was when he turned down a $40 million shoe deal with Reebok. In order to make a more affordable shoe that all kids could afford, he created his own Shaq brand and sold the shoe in Walmart.
Teaching about famous Black American integrity. Have a great night. Every day in Princeton, we sell and prevail.
Dr. Miller, I have some certificates that you're supposed to disseminate, please, to the students right here.
Thank you.
It's two for each of them. It should be two for each student.
Thank you. Great job. Great job. Thank you. I know.
I think you gave him the wrong one. There you go.
There we go. All right. Thank you. Oh, you want to. But you got Get behind.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Ms. Boomer, you need to please stay.
All right, let's start.
Yes, ma'am. Board Member Kelly Muse will recognize the outstanding Career and Technical Education Month.
I'll be happy to. So tonight I have the esteemed honor to recognize an outstanding educator during Career and Technical Education Month. In honor of Career and Technical Education CTE Month, which is near and dear to my heart, we would like to celebrate one of our amazing educators, Ms. Lori Prescott. You guys will get to see a real human side of me tonight. I love you too. I don't know. I used to work with Lori, and she taught me a lot. And she is probably one of the most selfless, biggest heart and valuable people I know in education. So that being said, let me pull it together here. Let me get back to my script. In honor of Career and Technical Education Month, we would like to celebrate one of our amazing educators, Ms. Lori Prescott, as a career development coordinator that serves Newbern High School, Craven Early College, the H.J. McDonald Middle School, and Grover C. Fields Middle School. Prior to her position as a CDC, she worked as a purchasing agent at the central office for Craven County Schools. And then she took the opportunity to share her knowledge and teach business classes at H.J. McDonald Middle School. Ms. Prescott works diligently in her role to support her colleagues and all students. Ms. Prescott's dedication to the students, their success in the CT program is evident across the district and the schools that she serves. Several of her colleagues recognize the impact that Ms. Prescott has on those she works with. I'm not going to be able to do this. According to her colleague, Molly Westfall, Lori Prescott is an angel, and she is on earth. When issue arises, she is the first to come running, and she does. She's done it with my own child. There is not a stone that goes untouched when she is in charge of a task. She is amazing at her job. But her best trait is her love for children. Ms. Prescott is the person that students love and trust. She sprinkles her love and encouragement around the school daily. We are so very thankful for all she contributes to Newbern High School. Mr. Kevin Reese, who also has a secret recipe he puts in his salsa, and he will not tell you what it is. A veteran Newbern High School teacher adds, Lori is one of the most dedicated women I've ever met in my entire life. The measures that she goes to take care of the students and all staff at Newbern High School goes without saying. She is that person who is always positive, who is always that shining light and that person you can always go to when you need help, direction, or guidance. Not only New Bern High School, but this world is lucky to have her. Miss Migliorato, the New Bern High School CTE department chairperson, includes Lori is the epitome of professionalism. She is the most incredible CDC, and New Bern High School teachers are fortunate to work with her. She never hesitates to assist in any way when one of our teachers or leaders is in need. Her efforts do not stop at her job. She is willing to take on any challenge. Lori's kindness attitude is an example for us all. Lori is the rock of our department. She grounds us and encourages us, not only with her words, but through her actions. Students absolutely adore her. She remembers every face that passed through the classroom or office and doesn't hesitate to speak to them whenever she sees them, or shake her head at them when they might be being a little naughty. That happened to mine this week. They are always delighted that she remembers them, and they are anxious to share their progress with her. New Bern High School students rely on her advice and guidance to navigate them through high school and plan for their future. I am so proud to work with Lori. She serves with grit and grace. I want to be Lori Prescott when I grow up. And to get that kind of compliment from Robin Migliorato is really saying something. Ms. Davis, the district curriculum instructional management coordinator, stated, Lori loves and serves both CTE staff and CTE students. She works tirelessly to make sure her staff and students have what they need to be successful both inside and outside the school building. Being a team player comes naturally to Lori, even though she serves the largest school in the district. She is always the first to volunteer to assist anywhere else that might need her. Lori leads from her heart, and she makes everyone around her feel loved, included, and supported. She is an invaluable part of the CTE team. Thank you, Ms. Prescott, for your dedication and for your unconditional commitment and support to CTE, for your colleagues, for all of your students that are fortunate enough to work with you. Okay, so I made it.
Board Member Kimberly Smith will recognize the winners of the Bates Foundation grant and our beginning teacher mentors.
Thank you, Vice Chairwoman Clark. Tonight, we are spotlighting the winners of the Bate Foundation Individual School Grant Program and our beginning teacher mentors who work with our teachers through an innovative program. I'm going to ask the representatives from the Bate Foundation, along with Nisha Swain, Stacy Spear, Tajon Owens, Shanique Brown, Dr. Nashawn Dawson, Dr. Lakeisha Boone, and partners in education members that are here, Darlene Brown and others, to come on up because this is about you. We're going to celebrate you, make you stand here while we do it. So come on down. Okay. The Beginning Teacher Store was the brainchild of our very own superintendent, Dr. Wendy Miller, and we're proud to carry this program forward. We're also recognizing the Harold H. Bate Foundation for their continued support and funding of these programs that make a significant impact on Craven County Schools through Craven County Schools local nonprofit Partners in Education, or PI, as we all know it. PI was honored to be selected as a grant recipient for $60,000 from the Bate Foundation, $30,000 in funds from the Beginning Teacher Store, and $30,000 is for the Bate Foundation Individual School Grant Program. Nisha, Stacy, Tajon, and Shanique are mentors for our beginning teachers and are the rock stars that make this program work. Dr. Dawson, Dr. Boone, and Darlene Brown work together to ensure that grant funding is secured and deployed with fidelity. Congratulations to all of you for your outstanding work. Thank you to the Harold H. Bate Foundation for supporting the efforts of Craven County Schools and Partners in Ed through the awarding of this grant, and we'd ask that you and the Partners in Ed representatives stay up here after the photo op.
Yes, she's in the back.
Thank you. Next, while they're still standing up here, we'd like to recognize the winners of the Harold H. Bate Foundation Individual School Grants. The focus of this grant program are the subject areas of arts, music, health, and physical fitness. As I call your names, if you come up and as I call your name, we'll stand up here and until everybody's been recognized so we can get the picture. Okay, the first one we'll recognize is Meet Me at the Playground, A.H. Vanguard Elementary, Catherine Allagood Principal, Sarah Foster, counselor, and the amount is $4,963.46. We've got this. JT Barber, Erica Phillips Principal, and Heather Cody in the amount of $4,445.33. Health and Physical Education Padding Project, James W. Smith, Sherry Thomas Principal, Ashley Fillingham, Sheridan Wine, $5,000. Every Move You Make, Oaks Road Academy, Dr. Susanna Averett, Principal, Guy Pepper, and Kim Scott, in the amount of $4,566.51. Bleachers, bringing our fans and community together, Tucker Creek Middle School, Claudia Casey Principal, Michael Sloan, Ellen Turnage, in the amount of $4,036.09. Stop, Organize, and Play, West Craven Middle, Jessica Fortescue Principal, Ashley Etheridge, in the amount of $4,785. Plan, Do, Study, Act in the HPAC, Havelock High School, Stacy Freeble Principal, George Benitez, Jody Campbell, and Missy Murphy in the amount of $4,847.40. Congratulations to all of you for winning the grant and for the Harold H. Bate Foundation and their continued support for everyone, all the aspects of our system that they do, but particularly these grants tonight. So y'all squish together for a picture. Perfect.
He said he didn't want to. Certainly, we appreciate the many years and thousands of dollars they have given to the teachers of Craven County Schools. This is a great partnership, and I personally just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Board member Stephanie King will recognize two of our elementary schools winning the Piedmont Natural Gas Literacy Grant.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. With Daniel Ron and Tammy Thurman with Piedmont Natural Gas, Dr. Renika Wallace, Principal at Graham A. Barton Elementary, Deborah Hurst, Principal at W.J. Gerganis Elementary, and staff and members of the PI Board come to the front of the room, please. If you're here, come on down. Tonight, we recognize Piedmont Natural Gas for their support of our literacy programs and congratulate W.J. Gerganis Elementary and Graham A. Barton Elementary on winning this grant facilitated by Partners in Education in the amount of $5,000. To monitor our students' reading growth, students and teachers use Lexia Learning. Incorporating this blended learning program, students work at their own pace on individual learning paths. When our students successfully reach their reading benchmarks or level up, they get to select a book from our Piedmont Natural Gas Reading is Our Superpower library for their home libraries. We know that providing the means for children to decide which books they want to read at home and keep for their own will help students build healthy habits of lifelong reading. This project will allow us to celebrate students who meet their goals by letting students self-select a book to carry home and share with their families. This grant will be a catalyst for improving literacy for all our families and future generations of our students. Our vision is that this program, as funded by Piedmont Natural Gas, will be a model for other schools. Literacy is the foundation for all subjects. Can I repeat that? I will. Literacy is the foundation for all subjects. And the church say amen.
Amen.
All right. If we do not have a strong base in language arts, it will be challenging for our students to succeed in other subjects. Thank you to the Piedmont Natural Gas for funding this grant for our young readers. Reading is a superpower. The board in the shed. I'm a Baptist preacher, getting wind up. The Board of Education commends Dr. Wallace and Mrs. Hurst for going above and beyond to secure funding for their learners. And we thank and congratulate all of you on tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Board Member Carol Ipock will recognize our school counselors.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. National School Counseling Week, sponsored by the American School Counselors Association, ASCA, was celebrated from February 7th through 11th to focus public attention on the unique contributions of professional school counselors and how students are different as a result of what the school counselors do. National School Counseling Week highlights the tremendous impact school counselors can have in helping students achieve school success and plan for a career. This year's theme, Better Together, dedicated to celebrating our school counselors, could not be a better description of the role of the school counselor working diligently with our staff, families, and community for the benefit of our students. School counselors are actively engaged in helping students examine their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents, work in partnership with parents as they encourage challenges of raising children in today's world, focus on positive ways to enhance students' social, personal, educational, and career development, and work with teachers and other educators to provide an educational system where students can realize their potential and set healthy, realistic, and optimistic aspirations for themselves. Professional school counselors are certified, experienced educators with a master's degree in guidance and counseling. The combination of their training and experience makes them an integral part of the total education program. According to American School Counselors Association, school counselors work with all students to remove barriers to learning by addressing students' academic concerns, career awareness, and post-secondary options, and social emotional skills. Comprehensive school counseling programs help to increase student achievement and provide a much-needed resource for students, parents, teachers, and administrators. School counselors are integral to the student success. Tonight, we recognize the following school counselors for their hard work and tireless efforts to help guide our students into the future. As I call your name, if you would please come to the front. A.H. Bangert, Sarah Foster, Arthur W. Edwards, Beth Windsor, Bendy Quinn, Jennifer Medlin, Bridgeton Elementary, Casey Mitchell. Brinson Elementary, Natasha Arbello Fredericks. Creekside Elementary, Jody Scoggins. Havelock Elementary, Whitney Johns. JT Barber, Roxanne Wheeler. James W. Smith, Jennifer Jones. Oaks Road Academy, John Carroll. Oaks Road Academy, Angeline Fields. Roger Bell Academy, Stephanie Lovick. Roger Bell Academy, Reva Martin. Trent Park Elementary, Kimberly Little. Vanceboro Farm Life, Caitlin Hatcher. W.J. Greganis, Amber Sheffield. Grover C. Fields Middle, April Hall. Grover C. Fields Middle, Linda Jackson. H.J. McDonald Middle, Jordan Owlsbrook. H.J. McDonald Middle, Jen Williams. Havelock Middle, Michelle Bowman. Tucker Creek Middle, Patricia White. West Craven Middle, Christopher Hastings. West Craven Middle, Candace Stokes. Craven Early College High, Erin Blaylock. Craven Early College High, Allison Edwards. Early College East High, Debbie Sabin. Early College East High, Crystal Saunders. Havelock High, Alexis Barber. Havelock High, Christy Mendez. And Havelock High, Lindsay Slocum. Newbern High, Harper DeBagan. Thank you. Newbern High, Dale McAllister. Newbern High, Heidi Ricks. West Craven High, Delzora Clark. West Craven High, Melissa Hastings. West Craven High, Cody Krieger. And Craven Virtual Academy, Angela Thomas. And then from Central Services, our military liaison, Valerie Nassar. Will you join me? And if any family or significant supporters are here, stand and be recognized also as we recognize these counselors and thank them for the work they do.
No, one more. Board Member Victor Dove will recognize an essential classified employee.
As we all know, no puzzle is complete unless all the pieces are present. Even though they may be shaped differently, they may be different sizes, each one of them are uniquely needed to complete the art that's there. That's the same when it comes to each and every employee that we have in our community. The Essential Peace Recognition Program is a program to support the goal work of the board in keeping employees engaged and passionate about the work that supports the academic excellence for every child in Craven County schools. Each month, we will recognize an exemplary classified employee who has been nominated by the school administration. The Essential Peace Recognition Program recognizes classified employees who go far beyond the call of duty, doing more than others expect and demonstrating excellence in everything they do. The Board of Education is seeking to spotlight those employees that maintain high standards that pay attention to the smallest details, and that go the extra mile. Excellence means caring. It means making an effort to do more. Celebrating excellence is an important part of the Board of Education's recognition of the contribution made by the employees of Craven County Schools. It is an honor for us to recognize Mrs. Kathy Jarrett for the work she does at Roger Bell New Tech Academy. There's more. And in our school community. She goes above and beyond each day to ensure that students, staff, and families feel welcome. She listens to stakeholder concerns and always makes sure they feel supported by the school. Ms. Jarrett works behind the scenes to ensure that our school family is successful and jumps in without even being asked to assist when needed. Now, that's a good quality to have. There is not a job too big or too small for her. She always has a smile on her face. She will make you smile with her sense of humor and never sweats the small stuff. Her knowledge of Roger Bell community makes her an invaluable resource to our school and to our district. Most of all of her love and dedication to Roger Bell and his students, staffs, and family make her an essential piece to our puzzle. Once again, we'd like to recognize you. Thank you so much.
Let me put my eyes back on so I can see. We had a wonderful meeting on Tuesday, a very busy meeting on Tuesday. So those of you who would like to see all the good things that we did, you can find our notes on our website. And I would like to again thank Mr. Eastwood, stand up. He was our wonderful parent representative. Did a great job in representing you parents. He really did a wonderful job, gave us some valuable nuggets, some things to think about. And we appreciate his being here all day. He stayed all day.
All day.
I mean, all day. And at this time, we would like to recommend that the Board of Education approve the board meeting minutes for the following meeting dates. January 6th, the special call board of meeting minutes. January 18th, board work session minutes. And January 20th, board meeting minutes. So I'd like to get a motion to
Madam
approve
Chair, I
those.
so move that we approve these minutes.
Second.
It has been moved and second that these board meetings be approved. Are you ready for your question? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. This iPod is quick. And at this time, I would like to get a motion to approve the January 18th Board of Education closed session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and second that the January 18th Board of Education closed session minutes be approved. Are you ready for your question? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
I'd have it. Did I do-
I'm sorry.
Did I miss something?
No.
Oh. Okay. I need to know at this time, is there anything that need to be moved from the consent agenda? If there is nothing to be moved, I need to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second, I second.
It has been moved and second.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question? The addendum 8A, is that also included?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Thank you. We were entertained, it had been moved and second that we approve the consent agenda. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Ayes have the agenda. Everything goes to the consent agenda that we discussed on Tuesday. And at this time, I know that the children are tired. We appreciate them coming out tonight for doing such an awesome job. I know the parents are anxious to get them home so they can get ready for school tomorrow. So before they leave, let us give them another clap for being with us tonight. And Dr. Miller has an announcement.
If you have on camo tonight, we'd like you to come up front because we'd like to send our condolences to Carteret County, and we'd like everyone who has on camo that would like to send their condolences together up front as we go on break.
Great. And at this time, okay, you may be excused. Thank you for coming. That was you. You don't have to go, but if you need to. Hope you had a good break. I think we all needed one. And so, trying to get the kids, it's that time to get out, so they can go home safely. And at this time, Ms. Clark, do we have any public input?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 6 citizens who have signed up to speak. The first person will be Ms. Heather McManus, or if I mispronounce your name, would you please correct me?
you did just fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
And before we begin, thank you. Ms. Howard, can you hold on just a minute?
Yes,
please?
ma'am.
Before we begin, let us remind that when our stakeholders are speaking, the board is not going to interrupt them. We will listen to what they have to say, and once we begin with if the board members have any comments, the stakeholders are not going to say anything as well. We are going to listen to each one with respect and dignity.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Howard, you may begin, please.
Thank you. So I've come to you all this evening to discuss some things. The first one is our iPads. I think they're a great tool. However, the access that my children have on their Craven County School issued iPad is far greater than what they have on their iPads at home. I'm able to control a lot of things. They can't download anything. They can't delete their history. They can't do anything without me doing it for them. Other than a one-pager, I'm not sure, the one pager that we get at the beginning of the year, the policy, I don't know if there's any type of teaching that's happening in the classrooms on a regular basis to promote good stewardship of that technology. Not only the online part of it, but the device itself, like proper cleaning it, wiping it off. Because especially my middle school child, I'm like, son, the device is getting pretty dirty. So I started to make a note about something about how we already know, too much screen time can lead to behavioral issues and attention span issues and things like that. But I kind of went to something that seems a little bit more important, that the people that have created this technology limit very strictly their own children's usage of these kind of devices. Bill Gates doesn't allow his children to own a cell phone until they're at least 14 years old. And Steve Jobs wouldn't even allow his own children to have iPads. So that kind of speaks to how seriously we should take this technology and really make sure that we are implementing it and using it the best way possible. So the iPads that every student has presents the perfect opportunity for the students to also be bullied in a way that we have never experienced in our school-age lives. The children have the opportunity to relentlessly email each other, and that can lead to bad situations. And I just don't know if there's any kind of software that's installed on these devices that can pick up on that kind of wording, like GYK. If you don't know what that means, that's very serious, and every parent should know that. And I feel like we should be able to work together, as educators and parents, and really helping each other out, because I honestly didn't know what that meant until this year. And it means go kill yourself. So if you're not, really aware and involved in what's going on, there can be things happening, with your student that can be very alarming. And I wanted to mention the forms that I've seen my son fill out, especially my middle schooler. The forms that he's being assigned are not, when you go to a website and you're filling out something and you can hit enter and it takes you to the next spot that you need to fill something out. That has not been the typical experience that we have had. It is a PDF that my child has to go in and he has to edit it. He has to touch the screen where the text needs to go. He needs to touch text. He gets to size the text. He gets to pick the color of the text. He gets to pick the font of the text, all the things that can get him off track. And then he has to size the text down, make sure it's going to fit. Then he has to go and touch the next spot where he has to put a text in. And if he's got 15 or 20 spots where he's doing that, it takes him forever. I mean, really forever. So I just don't know if there is some type of program that we can get on these iPads so they can just hit enter, on their keyboards. That would be super duper. And I think that would help them out greatly. And I also wanted to just kind of mention this.
I just want to make sure that we are thinking of like what our legacy is going to be when all of this is over and how we have spent millions and billions of dollars. And I want to make sure that at least somebody mentions like, what tangible are we going to have left at the end of this? Because it's going to end. Do we have playgrounds? Do we have more shaded areas? Do we have things that our children can look around and it's going to put a smile on their face? Or is it just going to be hand sanitizer dispensers, decals, and lots of things that are not going to bring them joy when this all comes to an end? And also investing in, their nutrition. Ms. Kim mentioned to me when I was at the food show that our nutrition typically has to go with the cheapest vendor. And that is really sad. And if there's a way for us to be able to give more money to Miss Lauren so she can get fresh food, not processed, and really make it. You're welcome.
Next person is Mr. Joseph Twillie.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Go. All right, we'll go. I've read into the state's IEP program, and my son right now is a 3-year-old autistic boy. There's a good chance that when it comes time for him to go to kindergarten, according to this county, he will lose his IEP if we choose not to send him to kindergarten. I don't think you guys understand how bad of an idea that is. If he's ready to go to kindergarten, I can understand, he'll keep his IEP. But if he's not, you're going to take it away from him. That is a huge mistake, especially for autistic children or people who do need those IEPs. Let me go back here. The other thing I want to talk about was I read some of now my daughter's in 10th grade also. I read some of the program of the sex ed program that's going on in ninth grade from Duke University. I don't know what you guys have to do to maybe read up on that, or I don't know, get rid of it, because it's absolutely, I don't know what's the best word for a 9th grader to understand some of the things that they're teaching. 9th grader doesn't need to know how to make a condom pleasurable, period. And that's in that program. That should go away. There isn't 7 different, genders. There's 2, male and female. They don't need to know about non-binary, transgender. There's enough in TV right now that we have to help them with, other than the school system teaching it. Say, Mr. Doe, I did witness you on one of the previous meetings about kids who have mental issues. Say, they need to get help. The way you came across, it was very demonization. My daughter, at the start of this COVID in 9th grade, in New Bern High, when everything went remote, you have no idea the mental toll that took on that little girl. She's a very social person, and she needs to be around social people. When she didn't have that, the things I had to go through, the emergency room visits I had to go, the therapy sessions, the fact that she just spent 1 year and 2 months in South Carolina at a behavioral health center because of everything this wretched disease inflicted on us. I would just say maybe you should choose your words a little bit more carefully on that one. And I understand where you're coming from. There are kids that do need help. And as responsible parents, grandparents, nieces, nephews, whatever, you need to get those children the help that they need. Do whatever you can, by all means. And as this has to do with my daughter again, the softball fields at New Bern High, the toilets, they don't work. I don't know what we have to do to get possible, a couple plumbers out there to help out, but their season's about to start. And, you're going to have a whole bunch of people from different counties coming in there. Our toilets aren't going to work all of a sudden. So I don't know who we need to talk to. If you guys need help in finding somebody, please, you have my name, my phone number, my email. Give me a call. I'll be happy to help. We'll look on for some donations possibly from, New Bern plumbers that would be, love to help and maybe put their sign up out there. And to kind of jump on Heather with the tablets, you would be absolutely shocked to see what these kids can do on these tablets. They're not stupid. We may think they're naive and dumb, but they're not. They can work those tablets better than any one of you. I guarantee it. The things I found on my daughter's tablet in 9th grade would make a blown man blush or a grown man blush. I'm telling you right now, I was in shock and in awe on the things that she could download, she could watch. And a lot of that happened on the bus to school. It would make some of you absolutely scared to have these tablets. These tablets are actually setting, I believe, our kids back because they don't look through books anymore. They don't even write on paper half the time. My daughter doesn't even know how to sign her name properly because we stopped teaching cursive. When did we stop teaching cursive? When she writes, it looks like I used to write when I was in, I don't know, 8. It's because we don't put pen to pad anymore. We expect everything to be typed out on a tablet and just print it out. Every once in a while, you know, I hate to cut down trees and all, but most trees are made, or most paper is made from pulp anymore. It's sawdust. We need to get back to pen and paper and look through a book every once in a while, not just screen time over and over and over. It's hurting their eyes. I mean, that's a scientific fact. It's damaging to their eyes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Ms. Sharon Burkakis.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was privy to be present at your work session meeting a couple months ago when you chose the official Christmas card for Craven County Schools. And there were 30 pieces of art done by teachers and students that was flashed across the screen numerous times. And this was to represent a Christmas card. There were plenty of trees and box with bow. Why, even a penguin was there. Everything but Jesus. So I'm presenting to you this evening a question that at some point I really need for someone to answer. And that is, what are you teaching our children about our Christian holy season? And what holy day are you really teaching the children to observe? The Communist Party of China caught on to how much money was aflush in the months of November and December in the United States. And so they have a brand new holiday in China. And they get to decorate trees and hang up lights and go shopping and have a feast. And the name of the holiday, and I kid you not, the name of the holiday is a retail holiday. Chinese retail holiday. So my question is, what holy day are you teaching the children to observe? Because what I saw wasn't Christmas. Thank you.
Next up is the River of Opie.
My name is River Volpe, and I'm in 7th grade. As I read this, please close your eyes and think back to when you were in middle school and high school. Think about science class, science experiments with Bunsen burners and big safety goggles, looking at things under a microscope and how cool it looks, dissecting an animal and feeling like you're going to get sick. Think about ELA, your favorite books, and acting out the best parts with a classmate. Think about social studies and history, taking trips to historic sites and learning about where it all took place. Your history teacher bringing in artifacts and discussing them while holding them in your hands. Think about math. There's nothing fun about math. Are you thinking about all the lessons you learned in school, why those lessons stick with you today? Or are you smiling because of the memories you had when you were in school? I'm glad you have those memories because I don't, at least as of now. As of Monday, we will no longer be required to wear a mask, but our faces will still be hidden behind an iPad. We do most of our work on the iPad. I haven't done a science experiment, but I have seen them on YouTube and answered questions about them on my iPad. Often teacher and parents complain about us kids and our behavior. Allow me to shed some light on the subject from a student's point of view. We're bored. I have done things on the iPad out of boredom, such as get on social media, play games, and email my friends while in class. It beats doing Khan Academy, Lexia, and sitting on campus all day. I will give my history teacher credit, though. He does what he can to make class interesting. I ask you to bring more innovative teaching back into our classrooms. Bring back the love of learning the way you loved it when you were in school. Encourage more hands-on learning activities and allow us to explore and learn in a way that doesn't involve an iPad. Watch how our behavior changes when we are engaged in school. I promise to meet you halfway. Thank you.
Next up, Amy Volpe.
Hi, I'm Amy Volpe. Let me talk about the iPad. Recently, I had to call the police and have them show up at my house. The reason is because my daughter was able to get into a social media app, thank God, which has now been blocked. But in the meantime, she did open up a private email account, a private Zoom account, and she ended up getting in contact with someone. My daughter ended up talking to somebody who we believe is now either a child predator or a possible sex trafficker. Multiple email accounts, social media accounts linked to the same email. As we started exploring, we found that she did Zoom with this person, did not turn her camera on, but she did talk to him. She admitted that he did not sound like the 14-year-old she thought he was. He sounded much older. My kid was this is a nightmare that my kid was able to do this on a school iPad, which I took for granted, thinking it was safe because it was issued by you guys. I was wrong. Thank God I went through it. The American Academy for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry says too much screen time can lead to violence, risk-taking behaviors, as I see in my own kid. Videos and stunts and challenges that we've experienced in our bathrooms. Sexual content, negative stereotypes, cyberbullying, substance use, weight gain, inaccurate information, reading fewer books, less time with family and friends, less time outdoors and physical activity, weight problems, sleep problems, mood problems, poor self-image, body image, fear of missing out, and the list goes on. If I were to take some of these issues to my child's doctor, the first thing he's going to ask me is, how much screen time is your child getting? I can tell you what she's getting at home. She doesn't have a tablet. I took a hammer to that thing a long time ago. She doesn't have a phone. She has a landline. Good luck texting on that. Good luck downloading anything on a landline. You can't do anything on it. She can talk to her friends, and that's about it. We have one computer in this house, and it's in the living room with a 26-inch monitor. I can see everything she is doing. I know who she's talking to. What scared me is that she was doing all this stuff while at school on a school device. I've since taken the school iPad away. I asked for it not to be put back in her hand. She's now on pen and paper, which has made things very difficult for her and her teachers, as I've gotten some pushback. Some teachers make comments that everything I do is online. Everything I do is on the iPad. So my daughter even has to do work on pen and paper and then take pictures of it with her teacher on the iPad to hand it in instead of just handing it to the teacher. Ridiculous. I don't want her on it. When I've asked and talked to your tech department, they say, well, we can't block that. We can't do this. We can't do that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that you can't block accounts or you can't block the ability to allow these kids to just freely explore Google. If we can block it at home, why can't you block it at school? And I can tell you, I block it at home. If she was at home on her home computer, I can tell you exactly what she's doing. I expect better from you guys because you are a school. You're supposed to be keeping our kids safe. You listen to all the science and all the experts when it came to the masks. We got the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry asking you guys to limit screen time. I'm asking you to listen to them. Thank you.
Lastly, we have, I'm going to mispronounce the name, Christy Frazier.
Hi. Gosh, there's a lot of passion in this room. I've been here before. I was talking about my son who's now in college, so he's done very well from the school process. I want to thank the healthcare providers and everything that everybody does, the teachers. I have a 17-year-old. Let me back up. I came from Iredell County. Iredell County was one of the first counties in the state of North Carolina to do laptop initiatives. So the first thing I did was I called Grover principal at the time, that was 6 years ago, to ask if they were laptop initiative. And she says, no, ma'am, no, we're not. We're pencil and paper. I said, thank God. So I really want to stress that a lot of their learning was excellent learning with going back to the pencil and paper and my experiences in that from going from Iredell County to Craven County. Fast forward, I have a 17-year-old. You can see him coming a mile away. He's 6'5". And he comes to me and thank God we have great school systems. The first thing I want to say is that I look at myself first. I don't look at outside influences. What can I do that's better for him? And there are choices. So we were able to put him into dual enrollment this semester. So I was thrilled. And to be able to talk to Samantha and get him into a dual enrollment, there is hope. There is hope for kids, and we have good things in place. I don't have a whole lot more to say, except I just want to share a little bit of information that I've learned on the internet myself so that I can educate myself. 96% of our elected officials are in the sitting county, 96%. That's a lot. You know, it's on the national level, there's only 1%. You can look this up yourself. And on the state level, 3.4%. So we have a lot of control right here in our environment as people, and we can elect our elected officials, and we have the right to ask for more from those people. We are the people that they represent. They represent us. There's more of us than there are of them, but they represent us and we vote them in. Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes public input.
Thank you so much. And at this time, I call on Dr. Boone.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Prior to the meeting, I handed everyone, Mr. Dove, yours is in place. And an addendum, one item for the personal report, number 8. And that person is listed under licensed personnel. So if you could take a look at that. And when it comes time to vote, deliver your vote for the addendum to the human resources report.
Make a motion to approve the human resources report as presented. You want a roll call, Madam Chair?
Second.
I'll second.
That has been moved and second that we approve the addendum for the human resource report. Question, in favor, let me know by,
Roll call.
a roll call vote.
Ms. Frances Boomer,
Yes.
Ms. Naomi Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Victor Dove,
Yes.
Mr. Carl Alpop,
Yes.
Ms. Stephanie King,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Kimberly Smith.
Yes.
You have a quorum. Your addendum 8A passed.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
And at this time, we would like to know if any board member has any comments to make about any of the stakeholder input that we have heard tonight. Mr. Doug.
I just want to respond to the gentleman. I'm sorry you misunderstood me, but what I said was that masks aren't the reason for all of the mental health accusations. I didn't take it away from the pandemic, but I said it just wasn't masks because that's what was coming to us a lot, that this masking is causing this. So I apologize, you misunderstood me, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, thank you. I actually have a question. Didn't we talk last year during softball season about the bathrooms not working? Or maybe that was one of the coaches that called me. But you can't answer that because I know I talked to somebody about the bathroom. Okay, sorry. Anyway, there was a bathroom issue last year and I thought that it had been taken care of because I knew the bathrooms had been backing up. And it was my understanding that maintenance had come back out there and got that taken care of. So I'm guessing we've got another backup. So maybe it runs deeper than just the actual bathrooms itself. Maybe it's down in those lines and maybe the city might need to be called or something depending on what the issue might be, but I think it's probably bigger. And I get what you guys are saying as parents with devices. I've had my husband's here tonight. My son had a flip phone one time and the bottom part could flip in his hand and the top part could flip in his hand way over here, right? Because our kids do stuff with devices that they shouldn't do and they need to be monitored. So we've had lots of concerns recently about too much device time, kids accessing too much. We do need to see if we can tighten this up. Maybe because of the type of device that they're on, we can't. So then maybe other devices need to be looked at. And, you know, we're not going to do away with pen and paper. Kids need to know how to sign their names for deeds of homes, loans, contracts, legal things that they're still going to have to sign for. And I don't believe the intention was for the devices to be the end all be all. I believe the intention of the device was to be a tool, right? Just like I use my device at work as a tool. It is my tool to get my job done. And those are going to be some things that the superintendent and her cabinet are going to have to really dig into. And she may very well have to, you know, talk to our technology director and see what we can do to lock these up. Because if kids are using a school device, they need to be doing school stuff on their device while they're in school, not setting up Zooms and setting up funky emails and doing whatever else they're doing. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you guys bringing those concerns, and I get it because I'm a mom too, right?
The only comment I have is River Volpe is an excellent writer. She needs to be in an accelerated English class, I hope. And she presented herself very well. I said River Volpe, the student, is an excellent writer and she needs to be in an accelerated English class. And she did a wonderful job presenting.
Can we address the lady who won't do Christian holiday? The Christian holiday? I wanted to just address the lady also about Christmas. I mean, as a Christian, I am, and I celebrate Christ and Christmas. As a system, we can't specify that. Am I correct? With children, and we can't put that out there. So it's basically left up to the parents to implement the Christianity portion of Christmas to them. I wish it was different, but legally it's not. I didn't want them to take prayer out of school, but they did. But we have so many great citizens that are of other faiths that we have to respect their wishes as well. So they don't want to be, I know indoctrination through schools is a big issue now. So that's also looked at as indoctrination. So that's why we can't specify that in the school districts, or not we. That's why it's not allowed, because it's not our choice. But I do recognize what you were saying on that situation, and I stand with you on it. So I'm on your side of the issue, as well as with the past. I could vote to take them out totally from the school. Phonics needs to be taught in a bigger way, everything. So, but I guess we'll have to look at that coming down the line and see what we can do. But I stand with you all on that situation too.
Anyone else? Ms. Key? Well, I don't know if I stand with you all on that situation on that. Let me front load it. Because what I saw when a lot of us came up to speak, or some of us came up to speak, and we're talking against the technology, is that we were reading from the technology that we were speaking against. So we can't speak one thing and then support it on another end. And I think that sometimes speaking to our students, our children, our teachers about how these tools are being utilized in the classroom. And I can say this because this is what I do every day. I'm an administrator, so I'm in classrooms. I don't see a lot of use of iPads in the classroom. I see students going into stations, working with worksheets, working with manipulatives, doing all the hands-on things. I'm in science classes. I see experiments that were taking place when I was in high school, still taking place. No, I haven't seen the dissection because I didn't want to see that when I was there. But I haven't seen dissection. I did last year. But a lot of things that we're thinking may not be taking place in the classroom. Probably if we took a little bit more time to talk to our teachers about what they are actually doing. Now, sometimes when the students take the homework or the iPad home, it may be because they didn't finish or complete something that was assigned in the classroom. So there may be a situation where they have to complete that assignment. And there could be some classrooms where iPads are being overused. I'm not saying that they're not, but I don't want us to paint the picture that Craven County Schools is using iPads from 7:30 to 3:30 or whatever time your student is in class every single day, because I do not believe that that is happening. I do believe that we are teaching stewardship. Everybody may not be learning it, or some people may not be teaching it as effectively as others, but I do know that our students have been taught how to carry them, how to clean them, how to take care of them. How do I know? Because I help do it. So we need to also, make sure that we put some, because everything my child came home and told me wasn't the truth. And not my daughter. My son would tell me the truth because he was scared, but not my daughter. So I always had to go behind her and make sure that what she actually, brought home to me was actually what was happening in the classroom. So I don't want us to, like I tell people, throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I do believe that if we continue to teach how to utilize this tool, this resource, because we have a lot of resources and they're not just iPads, but if we continue to teach how to use them with fidelity and with some balance, then I believe that, we will continue to see the success that we're seeing right now in Craven County Schools.
Anyone else? Mr. Alcott?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a couple of comments. Thank you so much to the parents for coming and to those who came and especially the student too, who came and presented to us. The iPad issue, computers in schools, that's got a long history. And I know there was a time that it was very tightly controlled, but we had that ability. The devices weren't so wide open as they are now. I believe that there are blocking mechanisms and things that we can do. I don't know what happens when you take the device and, go on the family home line, if we have the same levels of control. So it's a question that I would ask, just to be educated a little bit better for in the future. They have been a godsend during this. I probably am not supposed to say that. But anyway, during this pandemic, well, we learned from hurricanes and having kids out of school for 2 weeks, how damaging it is to their education. And we started to work on putting the capability for students to be online in inclement weather events and things of that nature. It happened right before the pandemic hit. And then we realized how critical they were. And, a lot of progress had been made, but we continued to work on making sure everyone was connected. We still have a ways to go in some areas of the county, and that's being worked on. But it did give an avenue. But more, in my mind, more than doing the work on computer, it was the students seeing the teacher and the teacher seeing the students and being connected that way. So it has its place. I appreciate any parent who oversees the technology use by their children. That is of critical importance. You just can't let them do whatever they're creative. They're looking, at all the edges and everything. So we have to stay on top of that. And if there is anything that we can do from the school side on the device to do the appropriate blocking, I know we do a lot of it, but apparently there are places where there are cracks and holes, and we need to find out what to do about that. I do appreciate, though, very much people bringing these issues to us so we're aware, and also so that we can talk about it and actually have conversation about what do we do here. And I think coming out of this conversation tonight, we'll have some report outs and get maybe a little better education as to what's going on.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I can't respond to it, but can someone respond to the parent that was asking about his third grader's IEP? Is that happening?
I wrote it down, but I wrote it down. And we can't ask a question.
I think it's something we need to look into a little more.
Well, I don't know if I got the
I-
information correct.
I've always been under the understanding that once you have an IEP, you have an IEP, and the IEP itself does not go away. That's always been my understanding.
Right.
So I think,
well,
I think.
You said kindergarten.
He's 3 years old. 3 years.
Right, 3
That's what
years
I meant.
old.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Right. 3 years old before. Right.
All right, Dr. I was just trying, Mr. Brown, the lawyer, gotcha. And I was.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. That's why we have more questions that she's gonna get.
3 years. Oh, okay. I think that's what I messed up on.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I would just like that because I only talked about River, but I really do appreciate the way that you all approached your issues today, and the way that you presented them so well and so fairly and with passion, even when we can't do what you want us to do. So I really do appreciate the way you all did that this evening.
And I was going to say the same thing on Ms. Smith. I like the way that everybody presented what you had to say. And you did it with your heart, you did it with passion. And I know that it's very important to you and it's important to us as well. And so I know that Dr. Miller and her cabinet, and I know that they are going to get together and the issue that you all discussed, I'm sure that they are going to look into it. And honestly, I learned some things tonight that I did not know myself. I hadn't thought about the iPads in the way that it was presented. I had not thought about it that way. And so I'm glad that, and by the mere fact that all of you basically were talking about iPads in some way. So, and so that lets me know, and I'm sure the board know, that it is an issue that we need to look into. But I appreciate the way you did it, and I just like the way that you want to handle yourself, and certainly moving forward, I know that we want to look into what we have been talking about. And, anyone else has anything else they need to add? And once again, we appreciate your input tonight. Board members, do we have
You have an event item? No?
Um,
Celebration?
I just have a real quick one.
Mhm.
Some recent conversation that we had about transportation and efficiency numbers and things like that raised some questions in my mind because I was thinking back how I had seen this handled in previous time and wanted to make sure that I had maybe a little bit better data to work from. As I remember it from years past when we had Floyd, that was the first time I remember that we were awarded an efficiency number that ended up being the budgetary number so that we can figure transportation. In more recent time, that's happened, I believe, 3 years in a row, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, where the awarded efficiency number was 100%. This is from Thomasin's department, and she's the one that reports this up. The actuals obviously aren't 100%. And what they're trying to do is make sure that we're not penalized across the state in transportation, an area that we have critical worst need when times are really bad and you have to make so many adjustments that you don't get penalized in your budgeting process and cut short on transportation because it's feeding forward into the next year's budget. So as I looked at that, it made me realize, you know, it has been a little while since we've heard from Dr. Hassel and transportation. I bet it's on the rotation for quarterly review, but I look forward to her coming forward and kind of reminding us what the lay of the land is and how this areas like this are being addressed and maybe the actual numbers versus the the assigned number for budgeting process, because what does that mean when that assigned number of 100% goes away? You know, then we could find ourselves in trouble, and we do need to be concretely aware of what the actual is in terms of efficiency also. So I look forward to that conversation.
You're right,
when it
Mr.
occurs.
iPod, because on those runs, there's two runs. There's a simulator run and then there's a model run.
Mhm.
And they use both of those. They use both of those runs in the total. And so if we have an actual number, but then they gift a number, I guess, to put it that way, you know, because you're actually this, but we're gifting you this.
That's it.
Then both of those numbers should be presented and not just the gift. Because we need to know exactly what we are doing and not just what we're gifted, because the gift is not factual. It's not actually the facts. You know what I mean? And it's not, and it's also, you know, we need to know the actual and the gifts because that shows transparency.
And it allows us to project the what ifs for the coming year.
Correct.
When, you know, could find ourselves.
Right, because we may not always receive the gift.
So in my mind, Dr. Hassel is the perfect person to do that because I remember in times past, she's done a lot of education of the board and how transportation works when she's presented.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Clark, would you like to, do you have any goal discussion, work discussion? You'll be in the minute. Okay, say no. You'll be in the minute. They'll be in the minute. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
As I was sitting, I just had time to think, and I'm trying to address, because I would assume that if when parents come give input, they would like a response. And I know they're not supposed to speak back when we're talking, and we're not supposed to speak when they're talking, but one of the parents spoke about the sex education program. Now, we have received emails on that, and I looked at it. It was, I believe, module 7, and it starts off about proper condom use. And I think that's in the 9th grade. I can't speak for children. I can only speak for myself. When I was in the 9th grade, I guess we were too grown. It was appropriate at that age. But yet, as a parent, I think that is the choice of a parent when they receive the education of how to roll a condom on yourself. So I thought we had the lady from Bate coming to speak during this term of board meetings. Do you all remember when she was at our meeting? Wasn't she supposed to speak to us and explain that program? Is that an opt-in program or is that just a
That's
program?
optional.
So all students aren't taught it?
You can choose. It's like, yeah, because even when my kids were in school, you could choose and, you opt out.
So parents have the ability
you
to
can
say they
preview-
don't want their child to take this course.
You can
Right.
preview it, your
Okay.
parents, you get a notice home, you can preview it, you can, now, a discussion could be, how to inform parents better so that parents really understand, they can come in and look and understand what it is, but you can always opt out. And I mean, I opted out for one and I didn't with the other, so,
So are children automatically opted in, and the parent has to take the responsibility
Yes.
to opt out?
Yes.
Yes.
opt out.
Well, that's the problem right there. I guess we'll have to. speak
My
on it.
understanding is that it is communicated so that parents know from times past. In my
Yeah,
You hear that conversation that me and Miss King were having when we were in there eating our dinner and about people not reading stuff like they should.
okay. Yeah, well,
And people, you send stuff home all the time, Mr. Eye Pocket, they just miss it. So that's part of the problem. I mean, I don't know. I think we need to figure out a way to communicate this with parents, that you can opt out and what it is and how involved it is. And I think that would be a lot, though. I think that would be.
But if they're automatically in and a parent has to put forth the effort to opt out, when you probably have a large percentage of parents that don't even want to be part of it, it seems like we need to switch that around.
Well, it's kind of like COVID testing. They have to opt in.
Okay, let Dr. Miller address that.
There is also parent meetings, and they invite the parents to attend, and they share the curriculum and what will be taught before they opt out, so that they are sure of the curriculum. And it's always available for a parent to review, but the actual instructor of the program meets with the parents, and they can ask any questions before they decide whether to opt out.
correct. It's part of the standard course of study, though. I mean, standard education. So that's the reason you don't automatically opt out, because we need, to provide the education, as I understand it.
I just wanted to address it in this form. And we can look at it later, at a later date next month, to see if it's anything that can be done to make it improve or make it better for parents.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Maybe there's something we can do. We can communicate better. We can do something.
But just keep in mind at the present time that you can opt out. You don't have, your child does not have to take the class they don't want to. And West Craven High School is a high school that's not having it. They didn't do it. At the present time, West Craven High School kids they don't have to make, it's not even being offered.
Right, but I think even with what West Craven is doing, the parents can opt out of that. Being able to opt out of that portion of the health class has always been an option, right? So even
It
what
has.
West Craven's offering, they can opt out of that as well.
Okay. Any more comments, questions? Okay, at this time, celebrations, board members.
I want to celebrate Mrs. Clark and her first night in that chair. She did a great job.
I want to celebrate, I'm sorry, Mrs. Smith, will you finish
That was it.
celebrating me?
Yeah,
Oh,
celebrating you was that was enough.
You want her to go on?
I'd like to celebrate Nurse Mack. We all know how invaluable assistance which she provides, but she far exceeded anyone's expectations the other day. Mr. Dove and I were trying to resolve a problem for a particular parent, called Nurse Mack, and not only did she resolve it, she said, Ms. Clark, give her my number. Wait a minute, give her my cell number, which is just incredible, and have her call me. So I thank you, that parent, thank you. You're just an ambassador of health for Craven County, so thank you, Nurse.
Oh, sorry.
Ladies first.
Thank you. Ms. Michelle Lee for our continuous improvement training. It was innovative, it was energetic, It was good. Mr. Dove missed it. I think you need to stay after, he needs to stay after class. Okay, he needs a tutorial, but you did a fabulous job and I believe we are on the right track. We appreciate you. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Well, since it was brought to our attention and highlighted to us so that we can see how difficult the task is that Steve is doing back there, I just want to acknowledge him publicly tonight and say thank you for keeping our systems running smoothly and efficiently all the time.
Anyone else? Anybody else? Going once, going twice? Time is up. I would like to celebrate Dr. Dawson and Dr. Boone for adding another flair to the essential piece that we do to recognize so did a great job with doing that. Your first time taking on that goal. It was great. And, I would like to celebrate that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for a job well done. So anybody else has anything else they need to add? Again, I'd like to thank our stakeholders for coming out tonight and for enlightening us about some things that we perhaps need to address, and we appreciate that. And right now I would like to thank all these wonderful people for being here all day, working all day, and still here tonight. Thank you for your dedication to this school system. And so we appreciate all that you do. You spend a lot of hours and we appreciate you doing that. And now you can go home and rest. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting for tonight.
So moved.
Hey, I would second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that this meeting is adjourned. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Dr. King. Ma'am? Dr.